morning, everyone. Welcome to our Senior Parents Chapel. I'm sure you'll enjoy all of it. It's absolutely terrific. Students, please turn your cell phones off.
Good morning. Welcome to Senior Parents Chapel for the class of 2025. We are so honored to be here with you all to celebrate our seniors. Catherine and I had so much fun planning this chapel, and we're grateful for all of the support that we received from the class of 2025 parents to make this such a special event. Parents participated by contributing their thoughtful words of wisdom, participating in an active role in this chapel service, and by planning the reception that follows. We want to give a special recognition to Jen Paschke for all of her hard work designing the Keepsake program. We also want to thank Reverend Ned Mulligan for helping us plan this special chapel, and fellow senior parent and choir director Scott Bonasso for selecting the music and leading our choir in song.
The theme of this chapel is Choose Kindness. Kindness is the quality of being friendly, helpful, generous, caring, and considerate to other people. It is also defined as a benevolent and helpful action intentionally directed toward another person. Christians are called to live by the fruits of the Spirit, which is to show love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, as stated in Galatians 5, verses 22 and 23. Today, we invite you to reflect on kindness. Think about what you can do intentionally to be kind to others, both those you know and those you don't know. Think about how the kindness shown to you by others has impacted your life so far. Choosing kindness is a decision you can make every day that will have powerful results in your life and those around you. We hope you enjoy the messages our speakers share with you today on the subject. Finally, at the conclusion of the chapel, seniors and parents, please join us in Sumner's Hall for a lovely reception organized by Courtney Boosie and Meg Earl.
Oh God, you have blessed us with the joy and care of our children. Continue to give us calm strength and patient wisdom as we support them in the next stages of their lives, that we may help them to learn to love whatever is just and true and good. Amen. Please stand for the processional hymn, number 433 in your program and in the hymnal.
gracious God, break down the walls that separate us. Unite us in the bonds of love, and help us to work through our struggle and confusion to accomplish your purposes on earth, that in your good time, all nations and races may serve you with commitment and in harmony. Amen.
Please join me in a moment of silence before the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
One river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We've been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond and wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn, and the pages too, but we read this book anyway, over and again. Giving is first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue, I gave you yellow. Together, we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together, we made something greater from the difference.
Don't Hesitate by Mary Oliver. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back. That sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb.
Guard well within yourself that treasure, kindness. Know how to give without hesitation, how to lose without regret, how to acquire without meanness. George Sand.
Small Kindnesses by Danusha Lamaris. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull in their legs to let you by, or how strangers still say bless you when someone sneezes. A leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we were saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire. Only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat.
A few thoughts on kindness from Maya Angelou. I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Kindness can be the greatest gift that you can give a person, especially when they are not expecting it. And a few additional thoughts on kindness from Pope Francis. Small acts of kindness are worth more than the greatest intentions. A world full of hope and kindness is a more beautiful world.
This is from Tim McGraw's Humble and Kind. You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. Childhood stars shine. Always stay humble and kind. Go to church because your mama says to. Visit Grandpa every chance that you can. It won't be wasted time. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door. Say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. When it's hot, eat a root beer popsicle, shut off the AC, and roll the windows down. Let that summer sun shine. Always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around and help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind.
That was beautiful, choir. Thank you. I remember meeting Dr. Lang when our daughters, Lexi and Claire, were together at River Oaks Baptist School in lower school about 13 years ago. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m., parents were invited to join their kids at lower school chapel, and there I would see this smiley dad sitting with his daughter almost every week, worshiping and learning simple Bible lessons together. My husband, Tom, already knew Dr. Lang because he was on the board of the Broach Foundation, a nonprofit that raises money for his brain cancer research. Soon after we attended the first Broach Gala, and I saw Fred get up on stage and speak, I connected the dots that the same dad that I would see at Rob's on Wednesday morning chapel is a big-time neurosurgeon at MD Anderson. He is trying to find a cure for brain cancer, and yet he would start his day by choosing kindness and prioritizing this special time with his daughter. Dr. Lang is a neurosurgeon, a professor, and the chairman of the Department of Neurosurgery at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center, the #1 cancer center in the U.S. Dr. Lang grew up in New York City in a family of 8 children. He attended Regis High School, a scholarship-only, Jesuit-run preparatory school in New York City, where, in addition to his academics, he was an all-city basketball player. He received his undergraduate degree from Yale College, majoring in biology and playing varsity basketball as a freshman and sophomore. He went on to receive his medical degree from Yale University School of Medicine, after which he completed his residency in neurosurgery at New York University Medical Center and Bellevue Hospital in New York City. He then did a specialized fellowship in neurosurgical oncology at MD Anderson Cancer Center, after which he joined the faculty in 1996. He was selected as chairman of the department in 2018. He is co-director of MD Anderson's Brain Tumor Center and co-director of the Cancer Neuroscience Program. Dr. Lang holds the Raymond Swaya Distinguished University Chair title. Dr. Lang is a physician scientist. He is recognized as a pioneer in the surgical removal of deep-seated brain tumors. He also runs a research laboratory focusing on developing gene, viral, and cellular therapies for brain tumors. His laboratory has been funded by the National Institutes of Health for over 20 years, and he has carried out multiple clinical trials that test new therapies developed in his laboratory. He has published over 260 peer-reviewed manuscripts. Dr. Lang is married to Dr. Gildy Babiera, who is recently retired after a distinguished career as a breast surgical oncologist at MD Anderson. His son, Fred, graduated from St. John's in 2014 and is currently a resident in internal medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. His older daughter, Samantha, attended high school at the Academy of the Sacred Heart in Michigan, where she pursued her passion for figure skating. She recently graduated from the University of Michigan and is currently working for the nonprofit Small Steps here in Houston. Lastly, he is the proud father of Lexi, who is a senior in the class of 2025 here at St. John's. Full circle to this moment, 13 years later, we are once again in a chapel service together, and it is my privilege and honor to introduce our keynote speaker and my friend, Dr. Fred Lang.
Well, good morning, everyone. And first, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much for this invitation to speak here today at this Senior Parent Chapel ceremony. For me, this is really quite an honor to be able to address all of the students here, whom I actually consider to be the future leaders of our country and our world. For me, St. John's is really an amazing high school, not only because of the dedicated teachers, but also because of you, the students, and also because of all of the wonderful parents who are here today. I actually think all of the students should give a hand to their parents for being here and for the support they have given you for the many, many years you've been at St. John's. So as you heard, my son graduated from St. John's in 2014, and he's now a medical resident in Boston, in large part, I feel, because of the education he received here at St. John's. And as you heard, I'm the proud father of my daughter, Lexi, who's in the audience today. And I suspect that Lexi is a little nervous about what I am going to say. So Lexi, I will try my best to embarrass you only a little. Okay. So I've been asked to speak this morning on this very important topic of choose kindness. These two words, choose and kindness, are of interest to me because they give me the opportunity to share some of my perspective on science, religion, and even the Bible. I will try to address this morning the question of how do we choose and what should we choose? So, as was mentioned in the introduction, I am a neurosurgeon and a scientist. As a brain surgeon, one of the most interesting operations I do is called an awake craniotomy. So, as the name implies, after we open the scalp, remove the skull, and expose the brain, we wake the patient up from the anesthesia. This affords us the opportunity to stimulate the brain with small electrical currents so that we can map the functions of the patient's brain. So, for example, if a tumor is growing near the speech areas of the brain, we stimulate the brain to identify the precise locations from which the patient speaks. Once we know where the speech centers are, we then safely remove the tumor without hurting the patient's ability to talk. Now, I must say I've been doing this for 25 or 30 years, and it's as interesting when I do it now as it was when I did it the first time. And I really think it's quite cool. So I tell you this about surgery because as a neurosurgeon and scientist, it is clear to me that just as the ability to speak is mediated by the interactions of nerves in certain parts of our brain, so too are our higher functions of reasoning, including the first word of our topic today, our ability to choose. Well, many people think that choosing is something that occurs outside our brain. Making choices is actually the result of electrical connections of the nerves in our brain. The part of the brain that does this choosing is thought to be in the frontal lobe, in what's called the prefrontal cortex. So when met with a situation where I must choose, for example, choosing between the chocolate cake or the vanilla ice cream for dessert, my prefrontal cortex integrates electrical signals, including past memories and my emotions around those memories. For example, maybe the fun I had at a birthday party as a kid. Based on these inputs into my prefrontal cortex, I reach for the chocolate cake rather than the vanilla or ice cream. So from a biology point of view, our brains have the neural capacity to choose. But the bigger question for all of us, especially when confronted with more important choices than cake and ice cream, is what should we choose and what guides our choices? Here I would propose we need to move beyond biological processes and start considering ideas about responsibility, guiding principles about life and values. For me, my Christian values and the Bible have been important for how I make choices. Interestingly, I think that choice is at the heart of the Bible. In fact, one of the first stories in the Bible is about choice. In the book of Genesis, God told Adam and Eve not to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They had a choice, obey God's request or not. Of course, we all know that Adam and Eve chose to eat from the tree, and in so doing, thought only of themselves, setting in motion, according to the Bible, our imperfect human state. Now, in the New Testament, Jesus, too, has many choices. For example, in the story of Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane before his crucifixion, Jesus says yes to his Father's request that he be tortured and die on the cross for the sins of others. Accepting torture and death for others is a very difficult choice for Jesus. So difficult that he begs God to take away his impending suffering. But ultimately, Jesus chooses to accept God's will, saying, "Not my will, but yours." So, what's the difference between the choice Adam and Eve made and the choice Jesus made? For me, the difference is summed up in the second word of our topic today, kindness. Kindness entails doing things for others, especially when it is inconvenient or difficult, even to the point of giving up one's life for another, like Jesus did. Now that is quite a challenging choice. Indeed, for me, the message of the Bible, in fact, the message of most religions, is that we can either choose to be kind or not to be kind. It ultimately is our choice. So let me give you an amazing example of someone choosing kindness. About 15 years ago, a young man, James Broach, entered my clinic after having trouble tracking the ball while playing tennis. His MRI scan showed a malignant brain tumor in his frontal lobe. Now, James was at the prime of his life, only 34 years old. He was married to a beautiful young wife. He had 3 young sons. His career was taking off. Learning that he had a malignant brain tumor was clearly a shock, and he knew that he did not have a long time to live. James had a choice at this juncture. He could lament his misfortune and become angry, or he could choose to be kind and do something positive. James chose to be kind. While James was going through multiple surgeries and several rounds of radiation and chemotherapy, he decided to start a foundation to raise money to find a cure for brain cancer. James knew that this cure would not be ready in time to help him, but he didn't want other families to experience the pain and suffering that his family was experiencing. James unfortunately died several years ago, but because of his kindness and the kindness of his many supporters, including Carrie and Tom, his foundation has raised over $6.5 million to find new cures for brain cancer. That is the outcome of choosing kindness. We all have opportunities to choose kindness. Of course, our choice can be big, like the choice of James Broach. But more often, we are faced with small choices each day. Our challenge is to choose kindness every time. For example, when faced with a group of people gossiping about a friend, can we join in the gossip, or can we choose kindness and support the friend? When our parents tell us to clean up our messy room, we can argue and complain, or we can choose kindness and simply clean up and thank them for providing such a nice home for us. You guys know about that one. Now, this sounds easy, but I think it is not. The choice of kindness is often very hard. It is especially hard when we feel disrespected, belittled, ignored, or hurt by someone else. But these situations are when we need more than ever to stop and make an active decision to choose kindness. Recently, I had a patient who yelled at me because I was running late in my appointments. The patient was pretty angry and nasty. I could have responded by ignoring the patient's complaints and making excuses. Instead, I recognized that this patient was scared about his cancer, and I chose to apologize and legitimize his fears. But like many of us, I must admit that I am not always so kind. Recently, during a conference, I spoke down to one of my colleagues in front of the entire team after feeling like I had been disrespected. In retrospect, I wish I had chosen kindness and been more understanding of my colleague's perspective. Choosing kindness is certainly not always easy. I want to close by bringing my discussion back to science and the nervous system. The way neural circuits work in the brain is that as we experience, learn, and encounter the world, we modify our brain connections. These connections are reinforced and made stronger by use and repetition, or by some major experience. So, for example, when you memorize vocabulary for a test, you are reinforcing and strengthening those neural connections that subserve the meaning of words. Well, the same processes exist for our behaviors. A brain that thinks about kindness, chooses kindness, and acts with kindness reinforces the connections that mediate the behavior we call kindness. The more you choose kindness, the more your brain will act kindly. In addition, the more the brains of others see and feel and hear kindness, the more those brains will reinforce their kindness connections. Choosing kindness from the perspective of neural connections can be infectious. So, seniors, as you go forth from these halls of St. John's and into the next part of your journey's life, into college and beyond, please remember to choose kindness every day, especially in those situations when it is most difficult. If you are able to choose kindness and give people grace, the world will be a better place, and you will likely be happier. So yes, choose kindness. Choose kindness. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak today, and God bless you all.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall gently upon your fields. And until we meet again, may you be held in the palm of God's hand. Please stand and sing Now Thank We All Our God in your leaflet.